Good? Can you hear me? All right. Highway P, Jacob Keys and Ganya Key. Bakoje, Wanyagihi, Ade, Nahe, Na Ahohi, Hawigi, Wadegrokaki. I want to say good morning to the subcommittee. My name is Jacob Keys. I'm the chairman of the Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma. We are the Bakoje, which means people of the Gray Snow. Our reservation homelands are between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. We're a small tribe, just over 950 tribal members, but we're the largest employer in our rural area, which is a very rural area. We operate many businesses, a couple gaming properties, fire department, police department, but we're also in the middle of building a $40 million health facility that will also have a child care center and a DOJ center. We're less than a month away from opening a new gaming facility with Caesars called Harrah's, Oklahoma. We'll have 400 new jobs when that casino opens. So keep in mind that's in the poorest county in Oklahoma. We'll build a new hotel next year. They'll add another couple of hundred jobs. So we'll reinvest those gaming funds not only into our tribal community, but the surrounding community. We're great Oklahomans. One of our most important investments is our nationally known Gray Snow Eagle House. The aviary provides rehabilitation and long-term care for injured eagles and other birds from across the United States. We've rehabilitated hundreds of bald and golden eagles and have released 55 eagles back into the wild. Through rehabilitation, education, research, and sanctuary, we're working to preserve this culturally significant species for the next 7 generations. This all began with a small U.S. Fish and Wildlife grant. Today, the aviary is completely funded by our tribe from our general fund, which primarily comes from our gaming revenues. I point that out because this is a prime example of how a small federal program can make a lasting impact. But my testimony today is focused on programs that support tribal economic development and health care. But first, I need to address the administration's reckless firings, reductions in force, and attempts to cut and consolidate Indian affairs programs. The Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma has a government-to-government relationship with the United States. Our ancestors negotiated treaties and agreements and ceded vast amounts of lands and resources in exchange for programs and services promised by the United States. Our tribe paid for these programs and services up front. I want to point out that we're also designated as a Purple Heart tribe. We're very proud of all of our veterans, our Gray Snow warriors. I point that out because some of that payment up front was with blood. The United States is failing to uphold its end of the deal. BIA, BIE, and IHS employees touch every part of our lives and every tribal project. They're already underfunded and understaffed. Each employee is already doing the work of 4 people. Losing just one federal employee can bring our economic development projects to a halt or threaten life-saving health care. Eliminating staff without any consultation or transition plan violates the United States' treaty and trust responsibilities. Funding and staffing Indian programs and services must be mandatory. Treaty programs and services cannot be subject to political changes. The Indian Health Service is an important example of this. This subcommittee has done a lot to provide advanced appropriations, increase funding, and protect IHS, but IHS is still chronically understaffed and underfunded. If we lose one employee, our healthcare system stops working. It's time to make IHS appropriations mandatory. Mandatory funding would ensure stable and predictable funding for the health care we were promised in our treaties. IHS also receives significantly less funding than other federal health care programs. Recent estimates say that IHS needs about $76 billion to fully be funded. Again, the United States must uphold its end of the deal. Even after surviving decades of broken promises and failed policies, the Iowa Tribe is strong and growing. We're using economic development to provide services to our members and many others in our rural area. We're making investments in jobs, law enforcement, and health care that will support our tribe, but also the surrounding community. This is really important to me. Before being elected, I started my own business. I'm a tribal entrepreneur and a businessman. I believe that we make our own opportunities and that by helping others, we help ourselves. I also know that there are a lot of doors that are closed to tribal members. Business investment and financing in our rural area is simply not available. The federal government has a trust responsibility to help overcome those barriers. We need programs like the BIA Guaranteed Loan Program. With just $13 million, the Loan Guarantee Program can support and guarantee $200 million in funding for tribal businesses. The administration tried to zero out this program. We need more access to investment and capital, not less. When I started my business, the intention was not for it to be known as a Native-owned business. But when I started to gain attention for that, I noticed that I had tribal members and other Natives in our community come to me and express how they were inspired that somebody like them that came from where they came from could start a business. I grew up in Little Axe, Oklahoma, poor. My remote control was a pair of pliers. And the idea of having $1 million to start my business honestly just seemed like it was not for somebody like me. So I urge that we fight to keep this program available. The Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma is not holding back. We're growing our economy and building our infrastructure. I appreciate the subcommittee for your support on these programs, and thank you for the opportunity to testify today.
Thank you. Rick, Chairman.